You walk around the space, and it's not super expensive. And I mean, it's where we went for kind of a brief honeymoon after our wedding, just because it's not super expensive. It has a flair or flavor to it. I mean, you can still find some kind of generic hotel things in there if you look closely, but largely it just looks like a place to kind of go hang out and rent a room.
You know, I was trying to think through, as you mentioned about hotels. We took my daughter to New York about a year ago for my wife's 50th birthday. Abby's first time in New York. And even with that, we went to a swanky designer hotel because, you know, I got at that time a 14-year-old, and you take her to the hip.
Hotels in New York are expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
my gosh. That was like a year's worth of my mortgage.
That was another thing, that I was able to find a hip hotel without having to actually draw blood for myself.
Take out a mortgage.
But even in that, you go into it, and yes, it was cool because, you know, the room was small, as you expect in New York, but it had a very urban design, and she loved it. But even that, when you went in, and instead of having a welcoming place for the people to sit down, they had cubes. They were little cushioned cubes that people could sit on. And I looked around and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You can't even welcome me in with anything more than you got at IKEA. But that was their hip look.
That was their style. So this is kind of neat. The company that my husband for is opening up. You ready for this?
I'm sorry, the company that
my husband works for, I won't name, is opening up. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
Nap spaces in New York City.
I'm not surprised by that. That's something that we've often talked about at our work. We have a conference room in our office that we keep on saying we ought to just turn that into a nap room, put a couple cots in there, keep the lights on dim all the time.
We have a room at work that is a nap room, and it has a recliner in it, and you can go in and sleep in it. If it's first come, first served. So
yeah, I could see, like, you know, you're in New York, you got an hour for lunch, you say, you drink a power drink or something like that, and then you go crash for 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I get that. I'm kind of impressed that America finally says it's not a weakness if you need to take a nap during the middle of the day. Your body needs to be replenished with water and with food. Why not replenish your mind with sleep?
And they're focusing on the businesses that are around there and the idea that when you go on your lunch, you could actually go someplace, change into PJs, rent a room for 45 or a cubicle almost, if you will. They're like nests, right?
You know, they're like little tubes you climb into?
Kind of. Some, not entire rooms to yourself, but definitely a shared space, but you can actually go in and nap for 45 minutes. They give you headphones if you want to listen to music. Mm-hmm. I mean, it sounds really, really cool. I wouldn't ever want to leave. And it's actually cheaper than renting a hotel room. So surely they're not open all night long, because otherwise you just rent one of those.
Well, I began to wonder.
Hour after hour after hour, and just stay there all night long.
Is there a cap on how long you can rent it? Is it one person only?
Probably, yeah.
Ooh.
But it's kind of a neat idea. I don't think it would work in Dallas itself.
I know that Asian cultures have those sleep tubes, and it's like common, and it's almost anywhere you go you can find that. So, you know, they've been ahead of us on at least trends on taking care of yourself and understanding that that is simply what you need. So maybe it's time we catch up to that. I don't know. Wow, it's sleep talk. We've never had sleep talk.
CBQ.
It's sleep talk.
Isn't there anything pop culture? We've had suburb, we've had hotel, and sleep talk.
Okay, I'm mad at Marvel Comics right now.
Let's hear why.
I heard this rant.
Go.
I got this one earlier.
So I'm ordering my comic books for October. And I love comic books, right? I love Batman and Spider-Man and Detective Comics and Action Comics and Superman and Wonder Woman and
You don't have to name them all.
But I have to order these things, right? And so I have to look at my numbers and say, all right, 65 people bought Amazing Spider-Man last month. Mm-hmm. I'm now ordering the next issue of Amazing Spider-Man. How many copies of Amazing Spider-Man should I order? The simple math says, well, how many did I sell last month? How many did I sell the month before? Is there something special happening with this issue? Is there a special artist or writer
New story
or storyline that might gain some new interest? Or is there a fill-in, the artist that nobody's going to care about, and actually might cause my numbers to dip, right? Mm-hmm. ideally, when I order something, I have some history with it so I know how to order it. DC Comics this month was relatively nice to me. The majority of the books that they were offering were actually books that were regular, that were normal. Marvel Comics, however, I went through, how many, Sean? 40? I went through 40 different issues. 40 different issues. And only one of them
was an ongoing
title.
It was all miniseries.
Now, my 35th issue was an ongoing title. But I had to get 34 issues in to get to my first regular ongoing title that I have history with the exception of one that was kind of inserted in between those first 34. It was maddening to me. So they're doing an event called Spider-Geddon.
Spider what?
Geddon.
Okay.
They've done an earlier thing called Spider-Verse where you've met Spider-Man from all over the multiverse. So this is kind of follow-up.
Is Spider-Man's like the number one selling Marvel?
Yeah. Spider-Man, Avengers are probably neck and neck.
Spider-Man seems to me as the neophyte in that, the most well-known.
When you think Marvel, you think Spider-Man?
I do. Yes, now because of the Marvel movies, I think other.
Not Iron Man or Hulk or Thor or Captain America.
Spider-Man's for, I think of all of them. They all fit in that, but
the
Spider-Man.
Avengers.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's who's elevated for you, the one.
That's the most aware I am.
Like when I say DC Comics, you think Batman.
I do.
Right.
Batman or Superman. They kind of neck and neck.
So in that play, I would say that, yeah, Batman and Justice League, Spider-Man and Avengers are kind of the comparison.
Okay. All right.
So they have an event called Spider-Geddon. And they're offering me this month the first 2 issues. So, all right, cool. So I'm ordering 2 issues of this miniseries, and I'm going to base it on probably my Amazing Spider-Man numbers because it's a Spider-Man book. It's a repeat event. I'm not getting a lot of buzz off of it, so I don't feel like it's actually going to sell like a major event for a publisher, right? It doesn't feel like this is universe shattering. We should get it. It just feels like a Spider-Man miniseries.
And when you say buzz, you're talking to your customers, knowing what they want or reading things and hearing people get excited about it.
So I'm ordering first up in this previews, Spider-Geddon issues 1, and then issue 2 will also come out that month. Then I flip the page, and for whatever reason, they're giving me the number 1 of a 3-issue miniseries called Spider Force. They're giving me the number 1 of a 2-issue series called Vault of Spiders. They're giving me 1 of a 3-issue series called Spider-Girl. So all of a sudden, I've got Spider-Geddon, the main miniseries, and I've got 3 more miniseries off of that one book. I then flip the page, and Spider-Gwen, who used to be series, is now getting a series again that ties into Spider-Geddon. I'm now getting Peter Parker, and this is the regular series that I was talking about. It's a tie into Spider-Geddon. And I'm getting Superior Octopus, which is a one-shot, which is also a tie into Spider-Geddon. So Spider-Geddon is a miniseries, now has 2 issues plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tie-ins. If you want to buy Spider-Geddon and you want to go all in, and you still want to buy your Avengers, and you still want to buy your Hulk, and you still want to buy your Amazing Spider-Man that week, you've got to spend $8 more on this miniseries and another $26 more to buy all these other side things. What I think what I don't understand.
Yes, Gesundheit.
What I don't understand from a business perspective is that each one of these books had to have a writer, an artist, an inker, a colorist, a letterer, and an editor. My audience is not going to spend the same amount of money they spend on Amazing Spider-Man. Let's just say I sell 65 copies of Amazing Spider-Man, right? Not even a third of those people are going to check into this book, any of these books, unless one of them gets a buzz. Somebody says, oh, Spider-Girl is really cool. Spider-Girls is really cool and something big happens in it. If they hear that buzz, they'll go in. So I'm already thinking about ordering 15 copies,
right?
20 copies.
Now, let's say you order 15, 20 and more people want it. Can you order more?
You can reorder. Or they
Not always. Marvel
they could do reprints too.
Marvel keeps their numbers pretty tight and they don't do that stuff.
Do they print according to what the orders are that they get?
They'll print a little bit
escalate a percentage above what that is?
Correct.
Okay.
Particularly if they think something's going to be hot.
Are you ever obligated to buy a book? Do they say if you want to get this, you have to at least buy this many copies of that?
They've done some things like that.
They only do that with their variant covers, not with their main issues.
Okay.
But what I'm frustrated by is the fact that I'm buying less of these smaller books.
Yeah.
and less of the main miniseries than I probably would have. If the smaller books were not there, I could have ordered more of their main book, and I could have moved the audience to the main books. I feel like this is a terrible waste of resources. I feel like this is a terrible budgetary decision because it's drawing their audience away from Amazing Spider-Man. It's drawing their audiences away from Avengers. It's drawing their audience away from buying Daredevil that month or Hulk.
I know that there have been times, and I know I'm not anywhere near a customer to you that is buying so much stuff that you're like, oh my God, he buys everything. I don't do that. I buy what interests me. For the first couple of weeks when I started buying again after we started working together like this, I think first couple of weeks I went, wow, I gotta read everything. And then I thought, no. But I'm curious about the Marvel and DC and the different publishers. Is that what you'd call them?
Yeah.
Did they not see that you could create a little animosity or a burn factor with your reader when they buy that? And it's, I kind of feel like I've wasted, and they might scale back because they feel like they've put money into it that they don't necessarily want to spend. I'm going to call out Marvel more than I am DC. They've both been guilty of it over the years. Mm-hmm.
But
is it greed?
I think it's just, I think they don't know what they're doing, and I think it's a money grab.
Okay.
I don't think they really know they want to boy-store their books. They want to sell more books. So what they do is they print more, and print more doesn't necessarily make more money.
Okay.
Right. So after that Spider-Geddon crap, and I'm going to read it, and I'm going to like the main series, I'm sure. We have a Halloween special that's a one-shot. Shuri from Black Panther gets a series, so I'm excited about that. Okay. Right. I don't know how to order that.
Who is that character? Is that the sister?
Yes, the sister from Black Panther. We then get Infinity Wars. There's another event going on called Infinity Wars that's happening right now. This will be issue 4, the 4th issue in Infinity Wars. So apparently issue 4 of the Infinity Wars deserves Infinity Wars Sleepwalker miniseries. 1 and 2 come out that month. Infinity Wars Arachnite, number 1 of 2 comes out that month. Infinity Wars Iron Hammer, 2 of 2 comes out that month. Infinity Wars Soldier Supreme, 2 of 2 comes out that month. Infinity Wars Weapon Hex, 1 of 2 comes out that month. Who cares?
Yeah.
So you see why my Spider-Geddon thing isn't just relegated to Spider-Geddon. I'm now having to divide my dollars,
right,
as is the consumer, not just with Spider-Geddon, but with Infinity Wars. If the Infinity Wars customer wants to buy Infinity Wars number 4 that month and is all in,
right,
they're going to pay $4 more plus $24 more for all of those one-shots, for all those side miniseries.
Right.
They're breaking the bank. You've suddenly got $50 that you're spending on Spider-Geddon and Infinity Wars, and you haven't even touched one of your regular books.
I completely see that. You know, as you went through that, it's much of the same reason that when CW does all their crossovers, even, you know, it's not my dollars, but it's my time, I don't get the value of even that. So when they start doing all these crossovers, I get the business case you're going to make of why, being a DC person, why Nightwing might appear in Wonder Woman. Because if I do that, the Nightwing fans will read Wonder Woman for the first time. They might become attracted. They might buy the title more often. I don't like it. Because what frustrates me is I step into the DC world, and I'm pretty particular. You know this. I read Batman. I read the derivatives of that to an extent. But when I feel like to follow the storylines I like, that I now have to buy all this other stuff, and it's money that, you know, now I have to explain to my wife why my comic book bill was $50 higher this month. It makes me mad at them. And that's I think why I scaled back a long time ago, was that I was wasting so much money trying to be really informed in all of it. And I don't want to do that.
Are you guys still talking about comics?
Like you're upset about that.
So after all of that, we get the Return of Wolverine, the miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
Which they already had 4 or 5 miniseries about him coming back before that.
I didn't know he went away.
He died.
They killed him.
Oh, did he really?
Years ago, yeah.
Well, that's stupid.
They buried him in an adamantium.
Which, by the way, as a side, he's my second most well-known Marvel person.
Wolverine?
If Spider-Man's first for me, Wolverine's second.
So then we get a Wasp miniseries, and I'll grant you a Wasp miniseries makes sense because we just got off of
the movie,
mm-hmm. Right? Then we get a Shatterstar miniseries, which maybe we're getting because he died briefly in Deadpool 2.
Who?
Shatterstar. Did you see Deadpool 2?
I did. Which one?
He was the guy in the white outfit that had the sword.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, got hit by the helicopter.
We then get a Black Panther versus Deadpool miniseries,
mm-hmm.
which maybe because they both had hit movies this year. Then for whatever reason, we get 5 one-shots about the X-Men. Like, who cares about Mojo? X-Men Mojo, X-Men Juggernaut, X-Men Mystique, X-Men Magneto, X-Men Emma Frost. Then we get 6 what if one shots.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is. I am